Hello everybody and welcome back to Belstead Lane. I just want to start the video off by saying a very happy new year to everybody. I haven't made a video since last year. I know that's not meant to be funny, but I haven't made a video since summer last year. All I remember is that it was in the middle of summer and the shed was starting to get quite unbearably warm. I think I've said that correctly. But yeah, it was getting really warm in here, becoming a bit uncomfortable. And while it was hot, I really didn't want to be stuck inside a shed building a model railway. So I thought I'd just step away, enjoy the summer while the weather was good, and carried on from where I left off. And I've been working on the layout for the last couple of months or so. And I think you can see straight away there is quite a big difference, but there is quite a lot to get through, I can tell you that now. So I'll go over the course of the video. I'll just give everyone an update of where the layout stands. Haven't really done anything worthy of filming or that would have been relatively easy to film, if that makes any sense. I have spent the last month or so mostly working underneath the layout and getting the track powered, and wasn't the easiest to film, so in the end I just didn't bother. Just thought I'd just show you in today's video how it's all powered anyway, and just give a good update on the layout in general. So hope you sit back and grab a cup of tea, and I hope you enjoy the video. So after I laid the track in the summer, I started wiring it all up, getting it all powered. I got around halfway there just before I decided to step back. But the good thing with this hobby is you can always come back and carry on from where you left off. So that's what I did. So I carried on wiring it up, and as soon as I switched the power on, just got round to testing it. And that's pretty much what's been going on for the last month or so, just been constantly running all the trains. You saw them all out on the fiddle yard, so it's nice to see the fiddle yard become populated now. I haven't actually had a fiddle yard before, so it's really good to actually have some storage on the layout now. But as you can see, here's some footage of the trains running around the layout now. It's all working. It ran pretty well straight out the box, or like the first time. It did highlight a few imperfections in the track work and a few undulations, places that can be genuinely improved, and just stuff like that really. So fortunately they were easy fixes and didn't really cause much problems, so I done what I could just to make the layout run as smooth as possible, and what you can see at the moment is pretty much the result. Hope you like the look of it. I certainly do. It really has come out really well, and all the time taken with it has certainly paid off. I will be filming a running session at some point soon. It's about time I get a decent running session up on the channel. The trains haven't ran for the last year and a half to 2 years or so, some of them even more. I did end up selling quite a lot of the old layouts collection off just to fund the new layout build, but there's also been a few new additions as well, which I'll be going over in this video. So with trains now running smoothly, I can always move on to the next stages of the layout build, but for now I'll just show you how it's all been wired up. So the entire layout is powered by these bus modules or bus terminals, whatever you want to call them, and these were bought from a variety of places. This particular one was bought from RK Education, and I use this one to power the filter yard with. So I have several of these underneath the filter yard powering all the dropper wires. But as you can see, just a series of terminal blocks on one large module. You have your bus wires going into your left and your right hand side terminal blocks over there. So obviously you've got a bus wire there running into the left hand side, and then the other side there. And then all the dropper wires go into the top and the bottom. So all the positive go in the top and all the negative go on the bottom. And so far, everything's ran nicely. Haven't had any problems with conductivity, but time will tell how long these last. The wiring isn't the neatest at the moment. I will probably go around tidying it up in the future, but for now it will do. And now I'm underneath a portion of the scenic section, and this is another module I've used. This particular one was bought from Model Railway Electronics, I believe, but you can find it on eBay pretty easily. But same sort of thing again, so it's just another series of terminal blocks. The bus wires going into the left and the right hand sides, but on this particular example, the dropper wires will alternate, so you have a positive, then a negative, then a positive, and so on. But the modules are clearly marked where the relevant wires need to go, so still nice and straightforward to use, and completely solder free. And in this particular area, I also fitted some frog juicers. I have added frog juicers to power the point frogs on most of the points on the layout now, but these are a bit of a temporary measure, as once I've fitted point motors to the area or around the layout, then the frog juicers will most likely get removed. And now we're underneath the lift out section, so same sort of thing again, all the dropper wires going into the modules, and then the bus wire on one side, and then I've used these pushing clips or these pushing connectors to connect the lift out section to the main bus. So the bus wire just gets connected here, and then these just get pushed together and pulled apart as and when I want to take the lift out section, or when I've just put it back in. Putting the lift out section in, lining all the track up and pushing this in, all takes about 10 seconds maximum, and so far it's worked really reliably. Haven't had any issues with it whatsoever, so I'm really pleased with how the lift out section has turned out overall. And then of course the same still applies to removing the lift out section, so the door can open and close. Because I have magnetic couplings fitted to pretty much all the wagons and coaches on the layout, and the trains are simply pulled apart on either side of the field yard, so the lift out section can be removed, and then once it's back in place, they're simply pushed back together again. And then once I was happy with how everything was running, I went ahead and I added some spare bits of plywood just to place along the edges of the track bed, or the track deck rather, and these run around the entire scenic section to the other side of the footy yard, just to hide all the wiring underneath more than anything, and just to make it a bit more nicer to look at. I'm in two minds whether to paint it white to match the track deck. I didn't paint that one white on its own. That one was already white because I think that was part of the old backboards on the previous layout, so that's why that one's white. But I probably will just keep the rest in bare wood, because they will be getting covered in plaster cloth and all the scenic items as well, so it would be rather pointless painting it. I also added the scenic brake backboards, so as you can see, covers the view of the field yard pretty much, and then we have the cutout for where the trains run through. I still need to add some PVA onto this one, same as the one on the other side of the layout, but I will do that before I get around to adding the back scenes in, which is one of the things I'll be doing next before I go ahead and start adding scenery in. I also want to go and add some more of the super elevation wedges, just to give the track a little bit more support. I don't notice any problems running, but one of the reasons why I also want to do that, as where I was testing things and where I've had derailments, where I've respaced the sleepers and all the sleepers are loose, they too tend to get pushed out of line. So I do need to thettle quite a lot of these sleepers just to get them back in their position, but that'll be something I do in the near future.
So now that everything runs and I'm happy with how everything is running around the layout, I can show you the fleet for Belstead Lane as it currently stands. I did end up selling a load of stock off from the previous layouts collection, like I mentioned earlier. So what you can see in front of you in the field yard at the moment is pretty much the full Belstead Lane fleet. So let me introduce you to them.
So first of all, we have Batman Class 66, number 66614 in Freightliner livery. This loco I bought for this layout. I'd done a swap for something from the previous layout. I can't remember what it was, but I just thought I'd get it anyway because it wasn't a lot of money. So I just done a simple swap on it. It's a 66/6, and these aren't very common on the Great Eastern Main Line, even in today's rail scene. So I will need to renumber this at some point. But it's already been lightly weathered by the previous owner, and I also went ahead and fitted the illuminated models lighting upgrade to it on one end. So you've got the marker lights fully illuminated on this model, which it didn't come with as standard. I'm not bothering with DCC sound on this layout now. Most of my models will be DCC fitted, so this one is just regularly DCC fitted for now. But other than the renumbering, I shouldn't need to do anything else to it. It's a good little runner around the layout, and once it's all fit for purpose and accurate, it will be running with the container trains and the ballast trains and things like that. Next up, we have another Batman Class 66, number 66533 in Freightliner livery. This model came from the previous layouts fleet, so I kept hold of this one. This one is sound fitted with a Jamie Goodman sound file on a Lock Sound V5 decoder, if I recall correctly. So I did decide to keep this one sound fitted. I also fitted the illuminated models, upgraded lighting to this model as well. As you can see, it does make a nice difference. Already been weathered by, I can't remember who weathered it now, but it was weathered before. So all I've really done to this model is remove the old zero injury decals, which were placed just behind the cab windows on the sides. So I've just brought it more into date of the new layouts period. So this is number 66533, and this will also be running on the container trains and ballast trains and anything else like that. And then the final Freightliner 66 is 66546, and this has also been fitted with its illuminated models, lighting upgrades. So as you can tell, I'm quite a big fan of these kits. This model is pretty much a factory release. Other than that, it hasn't been weathered yet. I'm pretty sure the running number is just a standard release number. So I might just renumber this to something a little bit different just to make it a bit more individual. Other than that, it's just the generic weathering that it needs, and then it will also be fit for service. Next up, we have a Bachmann Class 90, number 90048 in Freightliner triple grey livery. This model was part of the previous layouts fleet, so it carried on forward. I decided to keep hold of it. It has its BR arrows and crew depot plaques on the sides, so this model is modelled in 2004 to 2005 condition. The triple grey 90s did start losing these plaques on the sides over the period that I'm modelling. So over time, they did start having the BR arrows removed and the depot plaques removed across the fleet. So with a careful bit of research, I can choose which one I model. I do have a second triple grey class 90 that I will need to do a bit of reworking to, but as far as 90048 goes, it's bang on accurate for the era that I'm modelling. So it's been weathered, and it's a really good runner, so it's already pretty much fit for service. This will be getting run on the container trains to model the electric traction hauled services which ran between Felixstowe to places like Trafford Park in Manchester, and other places like Coatbridge and Crewe as well. And it will also get running with the Anglia Mark II Fs coaches as and when I get round to getting some in the fleet. That's a bit of a nudge to Bachmann. I really do hope they bring them out at some point this year, but I can only wish for that, I suppose. My other triple grey class 90 is 90047, which is also a Bachmann model. This one is modelled in more 2014 to 2016 condition. So this model was part of the previous layouts fleet as well. So this model is missing the BR arrows and the depot plaques at the back. So it's instead got a little grey marker or a scarring, whatever you want to call it. So with a bit of research, I need to just find out a bit more about what I can do with this model. So I might keep it as 90047 and maybe do some patch ups. So just look to see what plaques need to be added, or see if there's a 90 that had lost everything during the period I'm modelling, and just give it a renumber instead. But other than that, it's been weathered, and it actually just needs a decoder in it now. I haven't got a decoder to put in this model. I took it out and put it into another 90 I recently bought for the layout, but it's all ready for service other than that. So this one will be running on the layout eventually again. And like 90048, this will also be running on the container trains and the Anglia Mark II Fs as well. Going back to the diesels now, we have Bachmann Class 57, number 57011, Freightliner Challenger. This model was part of my previous layouts fleet as well, but I never really ran it because it wasn't within period, whereas with this new layout it is. So I'm glad I kept hold of this one instead. But it was never a great runner anyway, so I stripped all the motors out and the running gears to make it a free moving model, as you can see. And one of the reasons why I've done this is this model will be used as a dead in tow loco or a loco to run at the rear of a train. So as you can see, I fitted a flashing tail lamp, which has just gone off. So I've fitted the model with a flashing tail lamp, which you can see flashing away. That's just a spring side models lamp with a micro LED drilled into it. And then that's been wired to illuminated models end of train module, and then that has been wired to the headlight tabs on the PCB. So with this model being fitted with a decoder, I can use function 0 or F0 to turn off on and off the flashing tail lamp. Because another thing I did is I stripped all the lighting pieces as well on both sides. And then other than that, I've just done the relevant detailing, and I've also done a bit of improvement to the model to make it a bit more accurate. So I removed the Freightliner logos on the sides underneath the cab windows, and I also replaced them on the nose of the model as well, just to make it resemble the real thing a bit more. So upon testing, it runs well both dead in tow and at the rear of a train. So other than the weathering it desperately needs, it's pretty much fit for service or not for service, depending on how you look at it. The inspiration for doing this came from a picture I saw of 90016 still carrying Rail Express Systems livery, dragging 57 through Ipswich Platform 3 on a container train. So I thought it would be something a little bit different, and to make good use of a model that otherwise didn't really run the best. And at the end of the day, I didn't pay much for it anyway in the beginning. So that's the inspiration for that. So coming away from the Freightliner locos now, we've got a GBRF Class 66. So this one is 66701 in GBRF livery, and this is the early GBRF livery, the very first one, as you can tell by the branding. This model still needs a decoder in it, but I have ran it with one in, and it does run well. So I pretty much need to do the whole works to it. So fit the upgraded lighting. I'm also in two minds whether to renumber this or just to keep it as its current number and just fit the nameplates. But I might also consider getting an Acura scale model instead and seeing what I can do with that. So I'm in two minds really on what to do with it, but it also just needs a whole lot of work doing to it anyway. But other than that, it's a solid model. And here we have a duo of EWS Class 66s, and both of these are Bachmann models. And we have 66083 on the left and 66077 on the right or at the back. Both of these models came from the previous layouts fleet, so they came forward to this layout. Both models have been weathered, both models are DCC fitted. They both run really well, and they both really just need their lighting upgrades really to be fit for service. So these will be running with the EWS themed container train, as well as the stone trains as well that I've got a model of. But nothing more to say about these really. Good pair of 66s that I do enjoy running around the layout. Here we have one of the new additions to the layout. So we have 900110 in National Express 1 livery, as well as the full matching rake of Mark III coaches. So these turned up on the layout just before Christmas, and these are easily the flagship of the layout right now. So this, of course, models a intercity set which ran between Norwich and London Liverpool Street. We have the full 2+9 rake, so we have two first opens or FOs, one RFM buffet coach, as well as 6 trailing standard opens or standard coaches. And the coaches are all made by Oxford, and the DVT is made by Hornby. The coaches all feature close coupling thanks to the Hunt magnetic couplings, and exterior wires are fully accurate. So the coaches feature independent numbering, and I also need to fit the coach letters to some of them as well, just to finish them all off. But other than that, it just needs its weathering, and I'm also going to look into adding the passengers and interior lights to them as well. The DVT running number is 82102, and what I've done with this model is I painted the headlights or the lighting for the headlight a yellow with acrylic paint, just to give the more warm white appearance rather than the cool white the models come with from factory. And I also painted the interiors black or the cab black just to get rid of the eyesore blue. And then the DVTs are kept DCC ready, and the lighting is controlled by a switch on the chassis of the model. I always found with DCC the lights did tend to turn off as the DVT travelled around the layout, which really did used to get on my nerves a little bit. So I thought I'll try doing a switch underneath just to control the lighting, and that proved successful. So the lights stay continuously on when running around the layout now, and it's just a matter of flicking the switch depending on what direction I want the set to run in. Might not work for everybody, but considering that I haven't got a station on the layout, and I can't think of any scenario where I will reverse the set on the scenic section, I thought this would be a good compromise. At the moment, this is the only passenger train I have a model of for the layout for the time being, so I will be prioritising gathering more passenger stock. I do, however, have the beginnings of a unbranded Virgin Mark III rake coming together. So I have a model of a Virgin DVT unbranded, as well as a few coaches unbranded as well. I've already gathered the two first opens and the buffet coach and a standard open already. So I just need to gather the remaining standard opens to complete the full rake. The buffet coach is already fit for service with its surgeon branding removed, so I have ran that round within the one rake. But the two first opens are currently on the workbench receiving some roof modifications. So I haven't quite got the full rake yet, but by the time I get another layout update filmed later in the year, I'm hoping to have the whole rake completed by then. Then I'll have another Class 90 dedicated to passenger work as well. So when it comes to my fleet of wagons, at the moment I do have a container train for Freightliner, and I've used some Dapol FEA-B spine wagon doubles or twins, and a few of the Hatton's FEA single wagons as well. I do need to get some more containers. I did sell off quite a lot of containers from before. I don't have a large container collection anymore, so I do need to get some of them back or buy some new ones. Does look good running around in a 15 long rake, but I do need to buy another few to take it up to 20 for a more prototypical length. I do want to get some Hornby KFAs as well as some Bachmann FFA and FGAs as well, as these were being phased out in the early 2000s and were still running with the spine wagons. So it would be nice just to add a bit more variety into these container trains and have them a more prototypical length and fully loaded as well, which will certainly test the Loco's hauling capabilities. And this train is also used Hunt magnetic couplings to be all coupled together. I will try some different ones just to bring the buffers closer together, but the main reason was the middle pieces for the twins certainly makes them a lot easier to take apart. My second rake of container wagons are the Bachmann FIA intermodal wagons, which are modelling my EWS container train. I currently have 16 of these, and I do want to get a couple more sets to, again, take it up to 20 for a more prototypical length. Also, like I said before, need to invest in more containers so these wagons can become fully loaded, and a lot of them need weathering as well. They really do stand out when they're green, but will look a lot better when they're weathered. I have a rake of Dapol JNA Falcon wagons as well, and these will form a engineer's train. So these will carry ballast and scrap rail and sleepers and all that kind of stuff in them. They're in dire need of a weathering, but I have weathered one already just to try them out. So I'm quite confident to do the rest of them when I get around to having the time to do them, but pretty low on the priority list at the moment. These have been closely coupled together with some Hunt couplings to bring the buffers nice and close, and they do run and look really good running around the layout. And then the final rake of wagons I currently have are my stone train, which is made up of Cavalex PGAs and Bachmann JGAs. These were more accurate for the old layout, so I am looking into potentially swapping some wagons out just to try and capture a more mid 2000s type of stone train. Runs really well, and the detail of these wagons are really good. And I do have a flashing tail lamp on the rear. So far, they're still on their standard tension lock, so I do need to put some close couplings on them, but they do run really well around the layout most of the time anyway. Always run behind one of the EWS 66s, but as and when I get around to getting a Cavalex Class 60, then that will become the dedicated train instead. So that's the current Belstead Lane fleet. So certainly got a little bit of variety in there, but I would personally like a bit more. So I will be prioritising the passenger stock in particular over the next few months. So hopefully in the next few months there'll be a bit more stock on the layout running around. So what I want to do now is just go ahead and show you the future plans for the layout, and I'll try and keep it as short as I can because the video has gone on fairly long already. One thing I'm looking at doing, or strongly considering doing in the near future, is changing the DCC system. So at the moment I have a Gauge Master Prodigy Advanced 2, and it's served me well for the last 5 years. I cannot fault it at all. But one thing I noticed now that I've got a larger layout, and now that I've got a fairly decent sized fiddle yard with a lot of point work, I do tend to forget to switch the points. It sounds daft, but I am not used to having a fiddle yard. And I was watching one of Underground Eric's videos a few weeks back, and I took quite a lot of interest into his layout operation. So I looked into going down the Wi-Fi route and having everything on my phone. So after talking to Eric and watching more of his videos, I did find a DCC system that I quite like the look of. So I am strongly considering swapping that for this one, or selling the Gauge Master and buying the new DCC system. And this will allow me to operate the layout on an iPad or on my phone. And I'll also be adding point motors in the fiddle yard going down this route, just so then all the layouts control is in one place. That way everything's basically controlled in my hand rather than having to build like a separate control panel. I just thought I'd bring the layout more into the current era of operation. So a change of DCC system is looking quite likely on the horizon, and that is certainly a exciting avenue I look forward to going down. As tempting and exciting as it is, I've still got a little way to go yet before I start adding scenery to the layout. So as I said earlier, I need to add in the back scenes and add the PVA to these boards as well. But once I've done that, I can start looking at getting the scenery in. And what I was going to do is do all the scenery behind the track deck first to create the backdrop, and then obviously carry it around all around here, and just have a general think and plan of what I want to do scenic wise, what details I want to add, if I want any buildings and places like that. So it certainly isn't far away, the scenery, but I do need to add the back scenes in first, and I'll be doing that all around the layout, even over there as well. And then just to break things up, I always like to have some rolling stock projects on the go. So here's my debranded Virgin First Open coaches that I talked about earlier. So as you can see, I've already debranded these, and I'm actually in the middle of modifying the roofs on these at the moment. And I also have a couple of locos just to get sound fitted, and then obviously the GBRF 66 needs the lighting modifications and all the other work doing to it as well. I tend to post the loco and rolling stock projects on my Facebook and RM web threads. Don't really do much YouTube videos for these, but I'm always welcome to make them if that's what people would like to see. So leave your thoughts or any questions you might have in the comments as always. I'll also leave my links to my other social medias in the description below, so you can always go and follow those, drop me a like or follow on or whatever. All support is greatly appreciated, and that way you can also keep up to date with the layout behind the scenes. Okay, so that will end the video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. A Meet the Fleet was something a little bit different. I've never done one before, and now that the fleet is starting to get a little bit interesting and I've actually got space to store everything now, I thought it would be a bit different and a good idea to make one. If you have any questions about anything I've talked about in the video, then please feel free to leave them in the comments. And as always, you can find links to my other social medias below in the description. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you again soon. Take care, guys, and happy modelling. Bye.